3 P's of world championship leaders. Now, I've been around world championship leaders my entire life, got very lucky. There are some amazing people that got me where I was able to get to in life and continue to be beacons of light, of hope, of inspiration in my life that still I look up to and honor all the time. I've been lucky enough to be around world champions on both sides of the family. And when you're in that environment, no matter what, some of that rubs off on you. These are some of the lessons I'm passing on. So when I talk about world championship leaders, that's not a cool phrase. It's not just a marketing headline. That's something that is real. That's been part of my life. And the P's stand for power. We're going to talk about power. First, power is the power of thinking. Gee, David, can you get more obvious than that? Yes, I know that sounds very basic, but stick with me. Because as we know inside the huddle, we go deep with this. When's the last time that you've blocked time for yourself just to think, just to clear your head, just to get your thoughts out there, maybe on paper, maybe to someone else? So many people talk about, oh, well, I get my best ideas in the shower. Guess what? That's a form of block time. There's no other distractions. It's just you in there with your thoughts. And that's why so many times you come up with certain great ideas. You're getting stimulated. You're thinking through things. You're coming up with great questions to ask yourself in order to get great answers. Because we all know great questions, with great questions come great answers. So the power of thinking. This is not just muscle power that's going to get you ahead in life. It's also your brain power, your mental power. This is how you get clarity. This is the secret to working smarter, not harder. I know you've heard it all the time. High mental achievers, high mental performers focus on doing this all the time. They set up block times. Even Albert Einstein, I think he had a thinking chair, thinking room where he invested tons of time of his life just to sit down and think. Now, I'm not asking you to do all that, but what I am asking you to do is to make sure in your block time that you block out at least 5 minutes to just think about what's going on in your life and some questions you can ask. What's the best use of my time in the morning, in the afternoon, in the night, throughout my day? Am I maximizing the journey with my use of time? Am I investing that the best I can be? And if I was at my best, what would my day look like? Another one, where can I get better? Who can I bring in to help me get better? And finally, how can I do this with more grace? How can you go about your day with more grace and elegance? There's an elegance and art to when you're designing the day, when you're coming up with block time to think about. This is when you're really living on the field in life and not in the stands reacting to whatever life's throwing at you. You're being proactive and you're almost like an artist and you're carving out, architecting each piece of your day. It only happens when you sit down and block time to think. This is about working smarter, not harder. The power of language. We've been inside the huddle. We talked about optimizing your language. Now, what does that mean? That means you're using the best language possible. And you're also sensitized, super sensitized to some of the habitual language, some of the habitual questions, some of the habitual phrases that go on inside our internal dialogue that we aren't even aware of. And believe it or not, a lot of that is disempowering. We talk about some of the things we say to ourselves. And when I speak and I give trainings on, I said, imagine that you spoke to one of your best friends. If they're coming to you for advice, you spoke to your best friend like you usually speak to yourself when things are going wrong. Wouldn't be too pretty, would it? Probably wouldn't have too many friends. I know I'm guilty of this. Being a peak performer, high performance, you're always very hard on yourself. We need to figure out a way to balance that, to optimize our language, because the more enriched words we use, the more enriched our internal dialogue and our internal thinking. And the more enriched that is, the more enriched behaviors. The more enriched behaviors equal a more enriched life. And who doesn't want a more enriched life? I know I do. Comes from optimizing your language. One thing I wrote down here, when we change the words we use, that changes the way we focus on things. That also changes the way we feel. It changes our intentions, our behavior. It changes so much of the quality of our life. This is a must. We must think of what certain language patterns do you need to get rid of and other ones you add in. You can build your language set and get rid of loaded words and replace them with empowering words. And here's two. One of the ones we use all the time is hate. I hate this, I hate them. Hate's used so much. And I want you to use that loaded word, throw that one out and add in dislike. That little change will save a lot, believe it or not. And again, greatness is not some big thing. Building some enriched life is not some easy shortcut. It's a lot of little things stacked on top of each other day after day. That's why we must continue to do the personal development. But that one little change, and you can find other words on your own where you delete one and add in another and watch how different you feel, if anything else. Just notice that. The other one I wrote down is change the word problem. Take out the word problem and replace that with challenge. And I know a lot of you out there are competitors, some form or another. You like to compete in some way. When you change the word problem, you add in challenge, it changes your thinking a little bit to thinking, okay, this is a challenge that I can overcome. This is a challenge where I sit down and have my block time and I think about it, dissect it, see who I can bring in to get other perspectives on it, then it becomes a lot more manageable. That is a small change that's going to make a big difference. And that's what Inside the Huddle is all about. That's the power of language. So I want you to be sensitized by the makeup of the words you're using on a daily basis. The next thing I want to talk about is the power of support in your life. Your movers, your shakers, your achievers, you're moving forward in life. One of the things we need to make sure that we are doing is making sure we have a support to that. What do I mean specifically is to make sure you have the people around you that enable you to move even faster. One of my mentors always used to say, if you want to double your results, you double your support. When you have high intentions, when you have high goals, high aspirations, you also need a high level of support in certain areas. Things are moving fast. Holidays are coming up, birthdays, so much is coming up. We need to make sure we have the support we need to get through that. If you don't want to spend so much of your time or as much of your time as you are in one certain areas, get more support for that. Hire the people, find the interns, get everybody you can now, not when we're in chaos time in the holidays, so you have the support you need to go even faster. When you ask anybody that's a high achiever, that's achieved amazing things in their life, they have a team around. It's never just them. Nobody's ever self-made where it's only one individual. People just don't like to admit that theirs takes a village sometimes of people that will help you get to where you want to get. So if you feel overwhelmed at all, you need to get support. Find somebody. Ask people to come into your life and help. So many people are scared to do that. So many people have egos. Oh, I could do it all by myself. I don't need any help. I got this. That's ego talking. That's somebody who isn't maximized. Inside the Huddle, world-class competitors were never scared to ask for help, and it's not a weakness. I always remind people, it's a strength. It allows us to remain strong. That's what we want to do. We want to remain strong. Championship leaders will take time to think because there's so much going on that if they don't block everything out and make sure they're handling things in the correct way, they're going to get overwhelmed. You want to set this practice up before you get there. Championship leaders will always take time to optimize their language. You never go into a competition and think, oh my God, we're going to get beat, or I'm scared of this, or what if they do this? You go in with positive mantras that you are going to, no matter what happens, you are going to be there. You're going to take the adversity because you know you're built for that. You're built for the adversity, and you know the preparation you've put in, the journaling, all the work you've done behind the scenes have allowed you to maximize this performance. And anything that comes into your life that throws you off or gives you a failure is now another learning step that you can take, add into your life, so you can go through with a more enriched, greater quality of life. And the last thing that the leaders do, ask for support. Never scared to ask for help. Never scared to ask for assistance. Never scared to raise their hand and say, hey, I could use a hand here. I'm not understanding. I'm struggling, or I'm not going as fast as I want to go. I want to go even faster. That's what world championship leaders do. Thank you for watching all the way to the end. I hope you found that valuable. I have so much more amazing content videos coming, and I don't want you to miss out. So subscribe. If you want some more awesome videos, you can check those out. Until I see you again in the next one, keep going out there, hunting your greatness inside and out.